Hello again, this is Robert Veach here. This is my video review of the Anthony's brand, the Premium Vital Wheat Gluten. This is a 4-pound bag. It can barely fit on my studio table, it's so big. Now this is a very low carb, keto friendly, non-GMO protein, vegetarian protein. And it's premium vital wheat gluten, keto friendly, high in protein, improves elasticity and textures of doughs. It's made from 100% natural wheat gluten. It's a staple for making vegetarian meat alternatives, and like something called Seitan, S-E-I-T-A-N. You can find a lot of recipes online to use this product and to make that delicious meat substitute. Now, vital wheat gluten is derived the protein found in wheat, and this comes in a powder form. It's made from wheat flour that has been hydrated to activate the gluten. Then they process it to remove everything but that gluten. So that gluten is dried and ground back into a powder, which is what's in here. We're going to show a texture of this. Now, when mixed with water and spiced, this vital wheat gluten makes seitan, as I mentioned, vegetarian meat that's rich in protein. This contains tons of protein, also be added to regular flour to increase the content, resulting in high gluten flour, which we all know is ideal for baking chewier breads and pizza doughs. Now, due to the coronavirus, it's getting harder and harder to buy high gluten bread flour. So I bought this because I want to be able to add this to regular flour to turn it into a high gluten bread flour. And that way you can make all your favorite bread recipes, cookies, and pizza doughs. Now I'm going to be demonstrating this product. We're going to be making a delicious New York brick oven pizza that we could not make because we didn't have something like bread flour. So now we're going to add this product to our regular flour and make some delicious New York brick oven pizza. Now you could store this product in a cool, dry place. It doesn't have to be refrigerated. If you want to increase the shelf life, you can put it in a sealed container and put it in your freezer. You can put this whole bag in your freezer if you want, but it's got a pretty stable shelf life to it. So let's show the texture of this close up. So here's about as close as I can get with my camera, which is about 3 inches away. And I just want to show the texture of this. So it's got a beautiful color to it. It almost matches my studio table, almost exactly. So it's just a slightly creamy, slightly brown color. And it's very nicely ground. You can see it's kind of like flour, but even more ground than flour. You can just see the way it's sticking on my finger right there. So that's the texture, and what that does is it allows you to hydrate it quite easily, so you'll be able to put it in all your bread and pizza dough recipes, or make your vegetarian meat substitute with it quite easily because it'll hydrate quite nicely. So on the back of the bag it has information about how this is actually made, and I've got a close-up slide of the nutrition information on this. Now, if you notice, it also has something that says, whatever you do, don't look under the bag. And you could buy your own and see what they're talking about, but I'm not going to look under this bag. Actually, it's a joke. Its company's got a good sense of humor. And what it says is, not very good at following directions, are you? We like that. So the company's got a good sense of humor. They joke about gluten and all the gluten-free publicity that's going on right now. They kind of make fun of a lot of that. They sell both products. They sell this product and a lot of gluten-free flours. They've got a lot of different products on their website. So here I have the recipe printed out, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. I have the flour. I'm going to put that in this nice bowl right here. That's the measured amount. Then I have the Anthony's Premium Vital Wheat Gluten. I have that measured out also. I'm going to add that right to the flour mixture. And we're going to stir that up. Now we're going to add the sugar and the salt. This is the measured amount of salt. This is the measured sugar. Mix that all up nicely. Now we're going to heat the filtered water up to 115 degrees using the microwave, and then we're going to measure it with a thermometer, make sure that it doesn't exceed that temperature. So here I have the water, and it's about 110 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's measured out, so we're going to add that. We're going to start stirring it. And we're going to also add the olive oil. Doesn't use that much, just 1 tablespoon. And then once that liquid's all absorbed in there, we're going to add the yeast. So now we're going to take the yeast, we're going to sprinkle the yeast in. Again, this recipe doesn't use a lot of yeast because the trick is you want it chewy and you don't want it to be too fluffy. Now we're going to keep incorporating this, and we're going to start using your hand to work the dough and start kneading it. You're going to be kneading it for about 10 minutes. Okay, so I was kneading it for about 10 minutes, and that's what it looks like. Now I put it on the scale, about 36 ounces. So I'm going to try and get this in quarters. So I'm just going to approximate half of this. You can feel already the dough, there's a lot of resistance to it because of that gluten. There. Now by doing that, you have 4 sections, walls of flour, of dough, and you want to just cup them like that using your fingers on the bottom. Then we're going to let these sit. We're going to put some plastic wrap on them, and we're going to let them sit for at least 2 hours. And by the way, this dough, you could, once it's risen, you could freeze it and defrost it, and it works just beautifully in your freezer. You take it out and defrost it. If you want to wait a little longer than 2 hours, that's fine also. And then we're going to make the pizza. So here it is all wrapped, and we're going to let it sit for at least 2 hours. Okay, so it's been 3 hours, and let's take a look at the dough here. So it's got a very nice texture, very soft and moist. And what you want to do, now you can use a rolling pin, but you're better off just working the dough and letting gravity help you and just getting it thinner and thinner. What you can instantly feel is the resistance of this dough because of that gluten and just the flour alone. Now it's very important that you preheat your stone, and I'm going to preheat it to 525 degrees. Seems like a high temperature, but it's very important to have the stone that temperature, something near that. And I have the stone on the middle rack. So we're going to let that take its time to preheat. It'll get there pretty fast. And then the thermostat kicks in, so you're not wasting a lot of energy while it's preheating. Every oven is different, so you want to preheat it for half-hour minimum up to an hour. And the reason is you want that stone to be as hot as possible. Now, I've done it as short as a half hour, but you want to do a minimum of a half hour. So here I have the dough at the right shape I want. And you want to put some cornmeal, act like ball bearings on there. I've got the dough. Now it's always going to want to return back to the original shape. So right before you put it down on there, you want to just keep working at it and let gravity pull it. You can also pull it apart, just like that. And if you want to make sure that it doesn't stick on the paddle, you could add a little flour also. Now I'm going to place it on the paddle. Don't worry about it not being all perfectly flat. That's going to make it extra delicious. I like to add a little olive oil on the dough before I put any kind of sauce or tomatoes. See, it's moving around in there, which is a good thing, because you're going to have to slide this off. And then you want to have your sauce. Now this is a homemade sauce, and you want to make your sauce from scratch if possible. And what it is, it's canned tomatoes and a lot of garlic and olive oil cooked. You just want to spread that evenly. Make sure you put enough. Try and go close to the edge, but don't go to the edge because it will just burn. I'm going to add mozzarella cheese. Now you could add Parmesan also. I like to keep the salt level lower, so I don't want to increase the salt. And you can put as little of this or as much as you like. You can't overdo it too much because it'll add a lot of weight to it and you'll have trouble sliding it off the paddle. Now at this point you might want to add some vegetables. I normally put a lot of vegetables on here, but I want to show you the actual product afterwards without vegetables. And if you want, you could add a little bit olive oil, just a slight amount right on the top. You want to have that true New York pizza experience. And I like to add, you could have fresh oregano if you have it, or just dry oregano here. And I like to put a little red pepper also. And I like to add just a touch of garlic powder. And that's it. Now it's ready to go into the oven that we're preheating the stone. Now we're going to carefully place it on the stone using a paddle. And you want to tip it on an angle. Slowly drop it down on the stone just like that. Now this is not the kind of thing when you're cooking you could walk away as you're baking a cake or a pie. To really stay here watching it because it cooks so fast and you don't want to burn it. You want the crust to be perfect. So it's time to remove it. That was very quick, probably about 5 minutes. You can see all those delicious bubbles on there. So there it is. Now you can look on the bottom and it's got a perfectly brown crust. It's really hot and it was having bubbles from the gas pressure as it's cooking, but there it is. Now if you want to take a nice New York slice, there you go. And you see how it's got that angle right there? That's what shows you that it's pretty authentic. Now I'm going to let that cool down because I don't want to burn my mouth. I'm going to let you know how it tastes. So I'm going to save this piece for my wife because it is Mother's Day, and I'm going to have this piece right now. Absolutely delicious. Now I'm going to have the links to everything I used to make this. Not only the gluten powder, but the flour, the tomatoes, the cheese, everything you're going to need, the thermometer, everything. So use those links to purchase whatever you need to make this. It's well worth the effort. It's absolutely delicious.
So what do I think of Anthony's premium vital wheat gluten, this huge 4-pound bag? As I demonstrated, this worked just great to make our New York pizza crust absolutely delicious.
So this is the vital ingredient if you're going to make some of your favorite recipes, your bread recipes, your pizza recipes. So I'm going to give this product a full 5-star rating on my channel. Please remember to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you're alerted to new video uploads. And if you like this review, please hit the like button. I hope the information I presented helps you with your buying decisions. Thanks for watching.